Welcome back to Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous, where we have finally completed the Ivory Sanctum. I might have sounded a little disgruntled at some points in there. It's not among my favorite areas of the game, but don't mistake my disgruntledness as that I didn't enjoy it, because I absolutely did. Now, I'm wondering if I oh, that's just reagents. I mean, I think we rested just before we left. We might as well go up to Crimson Dust. Guess we can take the stuff at the disgusting beast on the way. What now? Oh. Before you, exhausted and seated on the ground, is none other than Forn. He looks up at you in surprise. Commander? I wasn't expecting to see you here. It appears my luck hasn't run out just yet. May I ask for your help? You notice a sizable amount of blood pooled by his legs. A belt is tied around one leg below the knee, but that doesn't appear to have stopped the bleeding. Forn has lost a lot of blood. Judging by the pool around his boot, he should have collapsed into unconsciousness long ago. He must be a truly resilient fighter. Forn's strength has failed him at the worst possible time. He has stopped to rest in the middle of an open area where a deadly arrow may come flying from any direction, and anyone approaching him to help will likewise be in danger. What are you doing here? I was tracking Kaylessa and found her lair not far from here. Again we fought, and again she was able to wound me. She is following my trail here as we speak. I find this all very suspicious. He can't be trusted. An elf seems to have appeared out of thin air. She shoots Forn a hateful glare. This is a trap. Forn is an assassin of the Winter Council and is come here to kill you. Grabbing his weapon, Forn shouts out forcefully. Watch out! She's stronger and deadlier than she looks. Slay her before she kills us both. A trap? What are you talking about? His wound is just for show. He's unharmed and full of strength. His goal is to lure you in so his cronies can attack you. I bet they're hiding nearby, waiting for the right moment. Kaylessa surveys the seemingly barren landscape suspiciously. Forn chuckles coldly. An ambush? Who is lying to us, her or our own eyes? Why would Forn want to kill me? He is a cold-blooded assassin sent by the Winter Council. That cabal of scumbags dispatches him whenever it needs an inconvenient truth covered up. And as for anyone unlucky enough to learn such truths that might sully our people's good name, well, he washes it all away with their blood. Forn mutters, his face scrunched up in contempt. Another lie. Will you ever tire of your deceit, accursed wretch? Why did you decide to intervene? You spared me. Let's say I'm repaying my debt. She gives you a stony look. Or do you think that, since I'm a drow, I don't know the meaning of honor? I believe Kaylessa. Forn, your deception ends here. Forn rises to his feet. His movements make it obvious that his injured leg was nothing more than a ruse. That is a shame. If you had just believed me, this would have been over more quickly and less painfully. It's unlikely that my associates will grant you an easy death, now. Not hiding his contempt, Forn nods in the direction of the dark elves that have appeared out of the shadows. Why did you ask for my help in your hunt for Kaylessa? I would have preferred not to have involved you in this matter and to put her to death myself. Then I wouldn't have had to kill you as well. Forn sighs quietly. But after my first clash with Kaylessa, I realized I didn't have the strength. Thus I decided to use you instead. Provided some motivation. I set up those skirmishes with the drow so that my words would seem more plausible. I regret that I had to stoop to such baseness, but even more I regret that it was unsuccessful. How could you ally yourself with a drow? Are you a demon worship? His voice trembles tragically. I did not seek this perverted alliance, yet it was inevitable. These extreme circumstances forced me to end your life. Anamora also sought your death, so joining forces was mutually beneficial. If things were different, I would be the first to rise up against her, but it just so happens that you have suddenly become a greater threat to my nation than she is. Kaylessa is scowling, her tone acerbic. The Winter Council believes that honor is the perfect shield against any accusations of ignominious acts. Who do you really serve? Thorne's voice is full of pride. I serve my people and no one else. Being an elf is not just a privilege, it's an obligation that I bear with honor, no matter how heavily it may weigh on me at times. Kaylessa's words are cold and biting. Liar! You serve a pack of unscrupulous scumbags, a clique of self-righteous schemers. In order to protect their lives, you murder the innocent, and then you hide behind words like duty. Forn, have you gone mad? I was tasked with keeping the secrets Kaylessa discovered from getting out. Knowing your reputation, I was certain that you would otherwise have unearthed them in short order. Therefore, I had no choice but to do this. No one is to blame for this, it's just the way things turned out. You'll pay for your deception, elf. Forn addresses you in a calm, somewhat sorrowful manner. I am sorry for having to do this. Believe me, I take no pleasure in carrying out this order. But circumstances are stronger than our desires.
Our victory is certain.
Yeah. It's a shame you are the one who's going to die.
Time to share your treasures.
I can hit 5 of them at a time.
Every strike count.
Goodbye, Forn. Not sure why I can't attack. Well then.
I'll make short work of this.
The light take you.
Cover me, all right?
A solid plan.
Do they have resistances versus 11, 12, 8, and this is reflex. They have 12 reflex, of course. That did enough damage.
You've crossed the wrong.
What's going on with Peps? Why can't he attack? Baleful polymorph? Oh, it's a curse, okay. Even in the face of death, Forn maintains a calm, melancholic expression. I knew I would die like this. On the edge of the world, defending the threads of nobility that weave my race into a single glorious nation. Well, at least I do not die in vain. Whose orders are you following? He just smiles sadly. You think that since I am at death's door, I will reveal the secrets of my superiors? You are mistaken. I and others like me know how to make our hearts stop beating before any treacherous words can spill from our mouths. I will remain loyal until the end. Just die already, backstabbing wretch. Forn closes his eyes and a quiet, peaceful breath escapes his lips. His chest stops heaving and the fingers he had wrapped around his weapon go limp. There's a deep bitterness in Kaylessa's voice. He even managed to die gracefully, despite being a complete scoundrel. Can I finally get an explanation as to what just happened? Forn wasn't a dark hunter, he was just a hunter. He served the Winter Council, a powerful elven organization. It wants me dead because I've learned of a very dark secret, and that is why they sent Forn to kill me, and everyone I could potentially have told about it, meaning you, soldier. The Winter Council, what sort of organization is it? The Winter Council is a legend, but few doubt its existence. It's said to be a clique of influential elves of Kyonin, a mysterious group that watches over the interests of elvenkind, protecting them by any means necessary. Murder, espionage, blackmail, no tool is excessive for them if the reputation and honor of the elven nation are at stake. When I decided to tell the world the truth about the Dark Fate, the bane of our kind, I signed my own death warrant in the eyes of the Winter Council. They don't want the elves to be tarnished by their association with the ignoble drow. They are too scared of being held responsible for the crimes of their dark cousins. It is better to hide this dangerous truth and destroy everyone who knows it. What's the Dark Fate? It's been assumed since time immemorial that the drow are either a degenerate branch of our kind, or an abhorrent perversion, a mockery fostered by the dark gods. But the truth is that the chasm between the elves and the drow is much smaller than one might think. Any elf can become a drow. Absolutely anyone. Whenever an elf commits unthinkable evil, letting darkness into their heart, they may one day transform. The Dark Fate is a state of the soul of an unrepentant malefactor who detests the light. An elf like that is no different from a drow, both in appearance and in spirit, and thus they become a drow. Kaylessa smiles mirthlessly. Her face shows the immense fatigue of the months of wandering, fighting for survival. Such cruel irony. The elves were trying so desperately to convince everyone that they have nothing to do with the drow, the most vile, horrid race in the world, and it turns out that the distance between a normal elf and a drow is but a single step. Tell me about yourself. The whole truth. With a weary sigh, she says in a hollow voice, I was born in Kyonin, in the blessed forests of the elves. I was different back then, pure and noble, but no matter how beautiful and fair Kyonin was, it had its share of injustice, cruelty, and crimes committed with impunity, and I never could stand crimes going unpunished. I joined the Sunset Wasps, a secret sect of vigilantes dedicated to Calistria. By night we would bring justice to those whom the law had failed to punish. Liars, traitors, molesters, murderers. But the further we went, the more our doubts grew. We asked ourselves, how reliable was the information we were getting? Would there have been any mistakes? Alas, it was too late. The whole time we were puppets in the hands of a priestess of Tiscari by the name of Anamora. That monster had been toying with us, using us to kill innocents. The wasp was revealed to be a locust, and we were unmasked as criminals and outcasts. We were wanted and had nowhere to turn. The only option was to bend the knee to Anamora, who promised us protection. I was the only one who refused, but I was captured and taken by force. Then, under Anamora's watchful eye, our apprenticeship began. We did dark, horrible things, bathing in violence and spite. Myself included. I did them too. At first, I was controlled by magic. Then, they broke me. And the dark fate, the curse of our people, took us one by one until it finally embraced me as well. When I saw the monster I had become, I mustered what remained of my will and fled. I wanted to tell everyone the truth. Tell them how we were caught in the demon's trap. Let the world know about the dark fate. But Anamora's hunters, my former comrades, they came for me. And they weren't the only ones, as it turned out. Tell me more about Anamora. She is a true drow, one who never was a normal elf. And even among drow, she is a dangerous monster, the deadliest of Discari's servants. Fear her. Her flesh nurses swarms of terrifying creatures, and her mind... I have learned the danger of her guile firsthand. I see. So, what now? Now I ask one last favor of you. I still have friends left in Kaionen. Real friends, ones I can trust. Send a letter to Avenara, to the leader of the Border Defenders. Recount my tragic tale so it doesn't die as the Winter Council wants it to, since I won't have the chance to speak this truth myself. Because you will have to end my life now, soldier. She looks at you calmly, warily. There is neither threat nor fear in her words, only a plea for, and acceptance of, the inevitable. Why do you seek death? The dark fate is claiming me. I can feel the malevolence and the hatred in my heart growing fiercer with each day that passes. The memories of the crimes I was forced to commit are clouding the world before me. I refuse to tread this path any further, to turn into a monster. If you have any mercy, I beg of you, kill me and end my torment. I'm sorry. Goodbye, soldier. Also, you can't save her. So I'll just pick up everything here. Don't I have remove curse somewhere here? That didn't do anything.
I shall
Rules
not
are
fail.
made to be broken.
Oh, he failed. And he failed again. And again. And again. And it doesn't take away spell slots, so... Oh, now it does. I have no idea what that's about. Just have a quick look around the area.
That is not far.
And then we move on. We can pop into the remains of a disgusting feast, then go up towards the Crimson Dust. Sickened, shaken. We might as well strike camp here. Get rid of the curse.
The Count's really done it this time with those roses. Irabeth's still walking around with a face like a slapped behind, as if all the money he spent on those flowers came direct from her wages. I love it.
She runs herself ragged every day, making sure the soldiers are armed and fed. And now, somebody goes and splashes cash around like it's nothing. Then again, that intention was good. Of all the stunts that somebody has pulled, you could even call this one sweet.
Oh my. I have no idea what Crimson Dust is.
I'll go ahead.
There's a crusader over there. There's a ghost as well. Ah, he flayed me. Flayed me alive like a rabbit. Ah, the pain. What did I do to him?
I know the way.
Yeah, so this is a trap.
Stab you or zap you? Why not both?
Out of my sight!
Attack!
Sinful Sinew. What a bizarre name.
No glory without risk!
Would you guys mind, including myself,
I will see to your demise.
Aim carefully.
Into the fray!
whatever that was about? Chain shirt of life Vim. Huh. It's good against undeads. Found a recipe. Blazing Parfait. Amulet of Natural Armor, +3. I'm not sure what this is even about. Skinned leather cloak. Yeah. Doesn't appear to be anything else there, so... Except the ghost.
Follow my lead.
We shall teleport back to Dresden. The resonant voice of the majestic angel rings out through the hushed streets of Dresden. You hear his words from afar. They concealed it right under our noses, and without Xanthir's notes, that incarnation of corruption, even I would not have been able to locate the barrier. Surely the herald of the inheritor can rid us of this scourge. Irabeth stumbles over her words slightly. It is impossible, righteous one. I cannot do it alone. But wait, I hear the steps of one who brings hope. I am the hand of the inheritor, herald of Iomedae the Lightbringer, and I greet you, champion of Golarion. Greetings, warrior of heaven, and thank you for your help in the Ivory Sanctum. I was glad to fight alongside you against our common enemy on a shared field of honor. What brings Iomedae's herald here? Your deeds and exploits, champion. You have brought hope to these accursed lands, hope that the demon invasion will finally be stopped once and for all. And I am here to aid my goddess's chosen one. What did you discuss with Irabeth? This. The angel gestures toward a symbol on the paving stones. The Ivory Sanctum held a dark secret. Directly beneath Dresden, in the bowels of the earth, there lies one more bastion of the demons, the Midnight Thane. It is the repository of a mighty rift through which the spawn of the abyss travel to Golarion. The entrance to this place is right in front of us, blocked by a barrier that is accessible only to demons. So, this is where Minago fled to and where all the demons in the city have been coming from. They can pass through the barrier freely, but we can't. And it doesn't just stop us, it injures us too. It is much worse than that. The barrier is imbued with enormous power. An attempt to break through will trigger a magical explosion. I could protect you and the city from it, but even my powers will be insufficient to hold back the chaos and open the way. This is what disturbs me the most. We cannot allow the demons to rebuild their armies and plot their next attack right below the sacred heart of the crusade. There must be a way to break through this barrier. Doubtless there should be. Only the gods are all-powerful. The deeds of all other forces can be counteracted. I think you should continue the crusade, making sure to carefully investigate all demonic and cultist activity. Sooner or later we will learn how to breach the barrier without triggering an explosion. Until then, I shall stand watch here and safeguard the city's peace. This is all I can do to help you currently, champion. Is there anything you wish to ask me? What do you think of the Sword of Valor? It has changed under the effect of my powers. The herald raises a hand. Do not fret, champion. The great relic given to the world by my lady Iomedae will continue to serve you just as it had served all people before now. The Sword of Valor has not lost its protective properties. It has merely changed its design. Some might call it blasphemous, but not I, for the power that changed the banner's design was given to you by Iomedae herself. It seems that I caused the Sword of Valor to change. Blood from the wound on my chest fell onto the banner and... That means this mysterious wound is a mark of valor given to you by my mistress, setting you apart from all the rest, champion. Are you sure this wound is a gift from Iomedae? No, I could be mistaken and unable to perceive the full truth. The inheritor's thoughts are hidden from me, for I am but her hand. But I do not test her will with my doubts, nor crave answers to my questions. I simply trust and serve. But I know that if your body had been harmed by malevolent fiends, my goddess would have extended her mercy to you and healed you. Why did the goddess bestow this wound on me? Because this world of yours, champion, is bleeding, and my lady's chosen one carries a crimson mark as a sign of the great suffering borne by mortal kind. The scarlet drops on your breast, they are the blood of all the martyrs and all the innocents. That is how I see it. Can you heal me? Defy my lady's will? It pains me, but I must refuse you, champion. If you are suffering from this affliction, it must be part of the inheritor's design. The pain serves to remind you of the path you must take. I've heard you. Do not allow doubt and fear to enter your heart. My lady will not abandon us. Can you tell me anything about my power? I'm afraid not. Even I am not privy to all the workings of my radiant mistress. I believe that she has chosen you, and I know that she watches over her chosen ones most attentively. She does not lead mortals by the hand, but allows them to prove themselves, to prove that they are worthy of her divine mercy. I sense the dark roots that have sprouted from the seed of power in your soul. I offer no condemnation. You have led the Crusaders to victory over evil, and that means you are on the true path. Even if you strayed at some point in your past, it is not the end, and much still lies ahead. While Iomade was still mortal, she underwent the test of the Starstone and gained her godhood. It may well be that you are experiencing a similar trial, at the end of which you will gain true righteousness and power. Tell me about yourself and your goddess. I will gladly answer any questions. What is it like being the herald of a deity? It is a great honor and a great responsibility. The herald is not always the strongest among a deity's servants, but the herald is always one who embodies the key principles of their faith. This means that I am bound to uphold the highest ideals of Iomade: righteous valor, justice, and honor. This is a tall order even for an angel, but I cannot falter in my duty even slightly. Therein lies my service to the goddess and the thousands of her faithful followers. What does a herald usually do? I serve as the hand and voice of the goddess, carrying out her will and delivering her message. When her radiance has no tasks for me, I am occupied by the same duties as other warriors of heaven. I keep unfailing watch over the goddess's domain, I escort the souls of the faithful to Pharasma's court, and then on to their waiting afterlife. I also watch over the goddess's chosen, and when the opportunity arises, I descend into hell to engage in honest combat with the devils. It allows me to study their tactics. What is Iomade like? No doubt you are hoping to hear a tale of her untold divine might and the awe she elicits in those around her. Yes, this is true of the Inheritor, but it is also true that much closer and understandable to you than to others, such as myself, for example. Iomade was born an ordinary person in the cursed lands of Cheliax, and travelled a long road before she became the righteous Queen of Heaven. But she has never forgotten who she was before. I am older than my Lady Goddess, much older, and still I bow down before her foresight and wisdom. We mortals who spend much of our time on the outer planes can sometimes struggle to comprehend the pain, fear, and joy that mortals feel. But not Iomade. She is as human as she is divine. Why is Heaven's host not aiding the Crusaders? You could have destroyed the Worldwound long ago. You cannot imagine how your question fills me with sorrow. My greatest desire since the day the Worldwound opened was to come here at the head of a light-bringing army and drive out the legions of darkness, to harry them until they were cowering in the farthest corners of the abyss. But alas, we, the first servants of the gods, are greatly restricted in what we can do. The Crusades are the mortals' battle for their own world. If I bring angelic forces here, it will become a war between heaven and the abyss. Waves of power, magic incinerating everything within sight, armies of celestials and demons fighting in every corner of this world. The consequences would be horrific. Remember, everything you have seen up to now has been the work of only 2 demon lords, Iskari and Baphomet. But in the abyss there are dozens of creatures with similar power. They are disunited and despise one another almost as much as they despise all that is light and righteous. But be sure that they will not miss a chance to sink their teeth into heaven's throat. If all the demon lords march into Golarion, it would be the stuff of nightmares, and it cannot be allowed to become a reality. If you can't intervene in the course of the crusade, then why are you helping me? There's permissible interference, and then there's crossing the line. I was permitted to create the ward stones and gift them to the Crusaders, to offer my advice, and from time to time even appear on the battlefield myself to accompany several allies. This does not stray beyond the bounds of the Mortals' War. I could have been summoned with equal success by a faithful cleric. But the appearance here of Heaven's multitudinous host in full force is another matter entirely. Alas, for now I can only offer you this, my presence and a small troop of my loyal soldiers. Thank you for your answers. I am here to illuminate you, champion. I want to talk to you about angels. You have my full attention. How are angels made? Like other supernatural beings, we most often, though not always, are born from the souls of mortals. You must be aware of the grand laws governing the cycle of birth and death. After Pharasma's court, each mortal soul receives their merited afterlife. Hell and the Abyss, Heaven and Elysium. Each soul goes to the plane that called them in life. But when they arrive at their destination, a different fate awaits each soul. Where evil reigns supreme, souls typically become commodities or prey, and a scant few are reborn as wicked fiends. In the planes of good, souls are destined for peaceful rest or great deeds in a new guise. Such is the lot of angels. We are born from the souls of noble mortals, one soul or several, it can vary. Sometimes the god can also create angels out of the essence of their plane, but this essence also contains fragments of good souls. What is the difference between angels and mortals? That is a question for sages and philosophers to debate. I am just a simple warrior. The hand of the inheritor's voice sounds cheerful, but becomes increasingly solemn as he continues. Although many supernatural beings are born from the souls of mortals, we are not mortals. We are cut from the cloth of the plane from which we originate. We are an idea made flesh. Many things mortals care deeply about mean nothing to us, such as time, for instance, or gender. Only a few of my kind see themselves as male or female. For the majority of angels, these words are meaningless. We can communicate with any creature without learning their language, and we do not freeze even in the most terrible frost. We are different. But we will never look down on mortals because of that, and we will never ever stop praying for you or protecting you. A dying angel appeared before me in the dungeons beneath Kenabres. He had left his flaming sword in the rubble there. The hand of the inheritor hangs his head. I can guess who it was. Lariel, my long-lost comrade and friend. He disappeared without a trace back in those days when the Worldwound opened its jaws for a second time and swallowed up new lands. I mourn him as bitterly today as I did back then, but I also rejoice that he was able to call to us, to you, across the expanse of time. We lose old allies and gain new ones, and we will not surrender, no matter how great the losses, no matter how deadly the enemy. In Kenabres, I touched the wardstone and I saw the angels trapped inside. The herald of Iomade gives a sigh beneath his helmet. It was a heavy decision for all of us. My mistress sent out a call to take a stand against the demons, and many angels of heaven answered it. We chose the noblest and bravest from among those who volunteered to sacrifice their freedom for the sake of Golarion, and we locked their souls inside the wardstones. We were fated to stand guard there, inside the cold depths of stone, pitting their unbending will against creeping demonic corruption. But alas, the goddess and I failed to account for the weakness that lurks even in the best of us. Time has not been kind to my brothers and sisters. Despair has taken root in their souls, forcing them to act against their goddess and their calling. Thank you for finding a way to preserve the wardstone, despite the fact that many of my brothers and sisters abandoned their vigil. I do not condemn them. I do not know if I could have withstood the demonic corruption if I had been in their place. The herald shakes his head despondently. Thank you. I found out everything I wanted to know. It has been a pleasure speaking with you, champion. And now I have to go. Farewell. May Iomede's light be with you. Some say that being a kind person is hard work, that most people can't do it. Is that true? Look at the people standing next to you. Don't you want to love these people? Is it so hard to smile at them, to say a kind word, to share with those in need? Don't you feel joy when you do something good for others? And isn't it wonderful when they do the same for you? Kindness is the easiest and most pleasant thing in the world. A crowd has gathered in the street. Young and old, civilians and soldiers. Everyone is listening to the frail elf girl, captivated by her delicate voice as it rings out. Now what about ungrateful assholes, huh? You do good for them and they just shit on you in return. Just don't be like them. And don't get angry at those people. Though they don't know what they are doing. Don't abandon them to their silliness and sins. Keep doing good and you will see, sooner or later, they will realize they were wrong. You should teach them about obeying the authorities and the law, not vague notions of kindness. But laws are written to make people behave well, even when they don't feel like it, aren't they? If everyone was kind, no laws would be needed. Everyone would live in peace and no one would hurt anybody else. Depends on the laws. In some places it's lawful to have slaves. That's right. You see, laws can be evil, but kindness is always kind. It turns out that it's the most important law of all. She keeps preaching. An insane preacher telling a laughing crowd about love, kindness, and ability of spirit. Yeah,
I am prepared.
I was just randomly teleported down here. Oh well. I suspect there's going to be a lot of talking, so let's wrap up this episode here and have a sub-episode for all the talking that's probably going to come up in the next episode. And if not, then the next episode won't be a sub-episode and we will continue with our adventures. We need to go back to the Temple of the Good Hunt for reasons. But for now, if you have any questions and or comments, then please do feel free to leave those in the comment section below. And thank you all so much for joining me. I hope to see you all in the next episode.